Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rhiannon. I am a witch and pagan as well as an occult connoisseur, and I like to talk about all things magical, mystical, and mysterious here on this channel. And today I thought that I would do a little bit more of a low-key video and jump on this Fail Tales tag that my friend Benta created. This is a really cool idea. I really like the whole thinking around sharing the reality of a practitioner's life and kind of demystifying and breaking down that third wall around our practices and really showing you guys like what it really is like. And you know, we're not perfect. We might show you the perfection on our Instagrams or our YouTube channels, but we're definitely not like that 24/7, and a lot of it is staged too. If we are indeed content creators, we're staging a lot of that stuff because one, we don't want to share it with others in its entirety, but we do want to share the idea. So if that makes sense. I just really like the way that this is giving you guys the honest truth about it, and then helping you guys build confidence in your own practices, because you know, not everyone is a perfect witch. We are all like flawed human beings, and I think this is a great way to take a step back and kind of look at, you know, practices in their reality. So my first thing I want to share with you that I fail at a lot is, you know, like keeping up on my practice. I'm really good at. I'm good at doing it for long periods of time, but I'm not good at not allowing myself to burn out. So I will, for a very, very long time, like for example, I did meditation every day for a year, and then that got up to 2 times a day for a year, basically. A few years ago, I made that video. I'll link it, all the videos that I referenced down in the show notes below, but I would push myself to not fail at those things and, you know, kind of go beyond what my true limitations was. Yes, it was a challenge for myself, but I would be up at midnight still, and then I'll be doing that meditation before bed, not allowing myself to fall asleep during it, and doing that full however long meditation I decided to do that day, then like unwinding, getting ready for bed, and going to bed. So I'm really bad at, you know, giving myself a good balance, I think. I'm bad at like I like to do the most. And this will carry forward in another idea here that I'll share, but I do the most with the most. And I definitely realize that about myself, and I'm trying to reel myself in a little, but yeah, I'll tend to burn myself out. I'll go full tilt for 6 months, a year, whatever it is, and then suddenly I drop off because I can't handle the level of capacity that I've expected of myself, whilst also adding on other things to that one thing that I had been doing, and doing that to its full extent as well. So then I, at that point, can't get back onto my practice for a very, very long time. So I'll maintain it for a very long time, but I'm not good at staying consistent with it because I'll drop off and suddenly I'm off of it for 6 months to however long, and then I'll feel guilty about it the whole time and have to get back onto it. So I think it's a lot of like finding balance in what really works for you. And I'm still trying to find that for myself, obviously. Also, side note, I just wanted to point out, I got my pumpkin witch mug out. To be real, it's out almost all year long, but during the high summer times, I let it sleep dormant, and it is back. The pumpkin queen is back. You know, she's never really gone anywhere, but anyway, I had to share that with you guys because I love it so much. My boyfriend got me this pumpkin queen mug last year, and I'm obsessed with it. Number 2 is journal keeping or grimoire keeping. This is something I was never really good at. One, I think it's maybe more of like a neurological thing where I don't know, I'm not diagnosed with anything specifically, but I have traits of very like black and white tendencies, and I tend to, you know, if I have the reference book, I don't feel the need, at least I didn't for a long time, feel the need to compile all that information and put it into a singular book when I have the books that I've purchased in my cabinet. So for a long time, I thought, you know, your grimoire is also your journal, and it's also like where you keep everything, and you have to like go through all this information and compile it and then put it into this beautiful tome, right? I think we all have kind of gone through that. But you know, in my experience, I had to discover what it was really like for me to create a grimoire. And I had to let go of that like idealism on where, you know, black is white, where the line kind of crosses over, and allow myself to collect the things that I need the most often and just have it as a quick reference. This is never going to be a completed book. This is never going to be perfect. And I actually gleaned a lot of inspiration from my friend Ivy. She set up a tour of her grimoire, and she uses a spiral clippy binder, I guess. And then she just uses like plastic sheets to keep things in, and that way you can continue to reorganize and take things out and add things. So now that I've discovered the way that I'd like to create a record of my grimoire, I am starting to compile it and putting that together. I'll definitely show you guys what I've gathered so far, and I like to show it just because I would like to share like what I contain in my book. So now that I've discovered kind of like what I like to keep in my grimoire, and I've started putting it together from that inspiration of that video, I'll definitely show you guys what I've compiled so far. It's not super duper interesting, but I'd love to get some ideas on what you guys keep in yours, and you know, how like you record things as well. I've decided now that I have 2 books that are currently actively running. Well, no, to be honest, it's 3. And one book that I create with like my magical spell planning. So that's my magical planner. I do that with my bullet journaling that I finally discovered like how I like to keep record of like my everything. So I have a planner for that. And then I have my like book of shadows, which is where I keep record of all of my spell working and, you know, my internal thoughts and all of that stuff. And then I have my grimoire, and my grimoire is my binder with all of my references and all of that kind of thing, all of my how-tos, recipes, all of that stuff. So it's kind of like a working trio that I have on the go, and I'll definitely show you guys that at some point. It's not super duper interesting, but I thought I'd share the way that I manage my grimoire, and I definitely need to have things compartmentalized so that I'm able to organize everything and not constantly be running out of space and having to restart a new book all the time. Number 3 I alluded to earlier is basically I do the most of the most. So I'm really bad at allowing my spell work to breathe. I tend to apply the most correspondence that I can possibly glean out of every which way that I can find through every book, every personal experience, in the thought that if I put the most into it, the most effort, that the spell would manifest better or more often, or quicker, that kind of thing. And that's something that I did for a very long time, and now that I've pulled that back, it is getting a lot better. I still struggle with the mentality of it. It's not out of like insecurity of knowing that or thinking that it's not going to happen, because I know my spells work. I know that they're going to manifest. I guarantee they manifest for myself every single time. Like I know within a good time span exactly when it's going to happen. You know, it's about 2 to 4 weeks for most spells for me to really fully like come to fruition. So with all of that said, I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's a control thing. I've always been much I've always been very much a control freak and wanting to be able to control everything, which is probably why I'm a witch and is why, because I like to manipulate energies and circumstances to go my way. So say what you will. It's just the honest truth. This next one is something that I don't know exactly why I do this or where it stems from, but I struggle with allowing myself to practice for myself. And I do a lot of workings for others. I practice all the time. I'm constantly doing things for family members, whether they ask me for it or not. I'm constantly trying to help friends and family and that kind of thing. Or maybe others, maybe even a complete stranger, I'm doing a working for them because I want to help them, you know? But I I struggle to make time for myself. And that is what this practice is for. This practice is for myself. This is for me to manifest what I want in my life. And I don't know if it's because I stem from like taking care of everyone in my like adolescence, feeling like I have to always be the problem solver or, you know, like the caretaker in the home. But I am working on that currently with shadow work, and I'm bringing it back to me. I'm bringing it back to the era of, you know, I'm the main character energy, because I am. So that is my season right now. I'm bringing it back to me. But, you know, it's always been a struggle, and I would love to know if others struggle with that as well. I don't know. It feels like I'm almost the only practitioner in the world in my mind right now that struggles to practice for themselves, because a lot of occultism and, you know, witchcraft practice is very self-centered around, you know, yourself and getting what you want. Not saying that it's self-centered, but it's very focused around it. You know, that's literally the point. But yeah, so I'm working on it, and with that, I've started doing some spiritual planning and using my Grimoire and my spiritual planner to help me plan that annually, monthly, and then eventually, you know, kind of like maybe even a weekly thing for myself or a bi-weekly thing for myself. You know, I'm practicing almost every day, especially since I've started working through Sonray's magical school. He invited me to take part in one of his classes, and Sonray, that class is so dope. Like, if you guys have not checked the class out, definitely do so. He offers so much value, so many different resources of things. But you know, one of his main practices that he taught me was like keeping a journal every day. And I won't disclose what his specific practice is because I don't know if he's shared that online, but you know, keeping that journal and maintaining it and using that as like my manifestation for the day has been game changing for me. And I've really like connected deeper to my practice and seen like the synchronicities of the universe like really showing themselves to me. Yeah. The thing that I tried to manifest the most was the most random thing that would be really hard to see in your mundane life, and it came up in conversations, and it came up in the most random places, like in my workplace, which is a gym. To have this magical creature come up in conversations out of nowhere, it's kind of funny. And then seeing it everywhere I go, you know, that's a testament to like just how amazing, just even getting back into your connection of your practice, how much that course helped me. Yeah, I'm not being sponsored by this this course or anything. I just really loved it. So thank you, Sonray, for inviting me to the course. It's really made a huge difference for me. But that said, that's all I can really think of at the moment. I'm sure there's much more that if I like dove deeper, I would be able to share, but I tend to mumble. So let's make this a shorter video, and I will see you guys all in the very next one. I am going to be doing some batching today, so I will be much more consistent because I'm working on that consistency and showing up for myself in every way possible. I love you all so very much. Thank you so much, Benta, for creating this tag. This was a lot of fun, and it helped me get a little bit more introspective into my practice. So I hope you all enjoyed it, you took something from it, and was able to feel a little less alone in your practice and realize, you know, we're not all perfect. I love you all so, so very much. I hope you have the most amazing day or night wherever you are in the world, and I hope you stay wicked. Okay, bye babes.